Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Breakfast and Business, the last one for this week on content creation. Now, every single week we have something as an overarching topic that we break down every single day. If you're brand new to Breakfast and Business, as you come in, please do say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from around the world. Let me know whether you're live or on the replay as well. And let me know who you are and what you're all about, because I want to know you. I want to get to know you a little bit better. I want to build community and help you as much as I possibly can. Now, right now, we are live across a number of different platforms. Breakfast and Business comes to you Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m. UK time. That's British summer time. So you can tune in 6 days a week. The broadcast is about 30 minutes long, and it's always around a topic that runs throughout the week. So this week has been all about content creation, and there's always a specific topic for each day as well. So if you've caught this and this is the first one you're on, please do go back and check out the previous broadcasts. If you've missed any of them, doesn't matter if you're live or on the replay, you're just as important. And there's loads and loads of value in there across the week. Now, Breakfast and Business is really important. It's not just about listening. It's about getting actively involved and being an active participant in an amazing community. There's so many good people joining these broadcasts and sharing about themselves and their business and taking an interest in growing their business moving forwards. So Breakfast and Business is all about bringing you an idea that's either maybe something that you know and that you need to have a reminder or a nudge in the right direction to put into practice, or maybe it's a brand new idea that you've never heard before. So whichever it is for you, I hope that you get loads of value from this. If you do, please do hit the share button across the various different platforms, and also actively get involved in letting us know that this makes sense and that you're following along. There's two different ways to do that. Each platform has its own unique buttons that you can use. So on Instagram, you've got hearts, Periscope, you've got hearts, YouTube, thumbs up, Facebook, you've got the reactions. Use the tools within the platform to show me that you're engaging, you're following along, and that it makes sense to you. The other way to do it across all the different platforms is throw some red, yellow, or orange emojis down in the comments when it makes sense, when you're following along, so that I can see that it's making sense. Mum always giving a good demo here. A load of emojis just makes it really visual for me up on the screen so that I can see what's happening and what's going on. So remember, let me know if you're live or on the replay, where you're tuning in from. We'll have a quick chat, say hi, and then I'll run through today's topic. I'll give you a recap of the week as well. So let's see who's in on the broadcast already this morning. Rudy, good to see you in on Instagram. Mum, good to see you in on Facebook. Rachel, coming in from Australia. Amazing guy coming in from Peterborough. Is it Facebook actually behaving this morning? Well, I did get a notification that one of the platforms isn't working, but I've just decided this week we're just going to roll with it and see where people tune in and go from there. So maybe you can let me know, where are you watching? Which platform are you watching? Also, not just which platform, but if it's my Facebook page or my Facebook group, let me know where you're tuned in and watching this so that I can see which bits are working and which bits aren't. For those who only joined today, there's been a few technical issues this week. Facebook has been kicking up all sorts of fuss around going live on Facebook pages. Now, not everybody's been experiencing this, and I'm going to put down a marker here and say what I think is happening. There's a whole new watch feature rolling out right now, and a little bit of an exclusive. If you haven't seen it already, when you go to tune into someone's live, take a look at the bottom left-hand corner if you're on a desktop, and you get an option to either watch it in live real time or to watch it from the beginning of the broadcast, something that you haven't been able to do before, but you can on certain pages right now. We've got that feature on our page, which obviously means that we're on the new product, which means of course that is more prone to have issues and problems, and I think that's probably what's happening because other people are not facing the same issues and the same problems. So let me know also if you can see this. If it's on the Facebook page, let me know if you can see the live feature on the watch video. So if you can, it will look like you can jump forward 10 seconds, back 10 seconds. It'll also have a little live button which you can click and it'll jump to the real time, or if you turn it off, it'll allow you to scrub back to any time you want in the video. Now that's causing a few issues with going live, so it's great to see where people are watching. Is it a Facebook page, Facebook group? Is it on a different platform? Just let me know which platform you're tuning in from as well. So great to have so many of you coming in. Tanya, great to see you coming in from the Czech Republic. Wow, coming in from on my profile. Tracy coming in live from the Isle of Wight. Guy Porteous has not been chosen to see it yet. So again, these are those kinds of things. At the moment, it's really hard to demonstrate because there's an issue with going live on my page unless we're actually live. They haven't seen anyone say Facebook page yet. There's lots of people in the group watching on my profile, but I haven't seen anyone say that on my page. But let's kick into that today. Remember, this week has been all about content creation. I hope that you guys have had loads and loads of value. Those of you who are tuned in live right now, let me know, and even if you're watching this as a replay, let me know in the comments what's been your biggest takeaway so far from this week on content creation. I want to know what's the one thing that you went, oh yeah, that makes loads of sense, or that's the one thing I should go and do. Obviously, every day we're giving you something to think about and go and put into practice. But I want to know now at this point, before I launch into today's topic, what's the one thing throughout the week? If you haven't tuned in throughout the week, I'll catch you up on what we have covered. So on Monday, we covered what is content. If you don't understand what content is, you're not going to be able to create it effectively, efficiently, and to grow your business through content marketing. And that's key and fundamental to using digital marketing and social media. Tuesday was all about content as digital assets, understanding that everything you create, when you understand the process, becomes a digital asset that you can use multiple times to get more out of the time you invest in creating it. That was Tuesday. Wednesday was about repurposing content by cross-posting, so posting to multiple places. In the same way, I'm trying to work out where you guys are watching, because we're live on Facebook groups, Facebook pages, we're on Periscope and Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Instagram Live. So there's loads of places where we're cross-posting so that you can get the best opportunity to connect with us where you want to. So Wednesday was all about that. Thursday was all about the content behind content. Again, as well as cross-posting, we're looking at creating content behind the content that we're creating in the moment. So having a second mobile maybe and sticking it up to record a time lapse, or taking a photo, or as I've done in a couple of lives this week, grabbing your phone and taking a selfie, or doing a little record of something else in the same content to give you a second piece of content. Even right now, without anything behind the scenes, I've got a landscape video here for the majority of platforms, and I've got portrait video here for Instagram Live. So I've got lots of content going on, so content behind content. Yesterday, we did a special segment, so if you didn't catch it, you're gonna have to jump back and watch that to see what's going on. But it was an opportunity for you to have all of your questions answered around content creation. And as always, if you missed it and you want to go back and you want to get involved, or you want to fire us questions, please do feel free to reach out to me across all the socials as ImTristanG. Find me where you most like to hang out, and I'd love to help you and answer more of your questions. It's not just exclusive to that, but I wanted to make it a bit of a deep dive. Yesterday's segment was a little bit of a whole session around how to put together your content strategy, what tools you might want to use, and some considerations on how to make sure you're going through all the things we've been talking about, which is creating content as digital assets, repurposing it, making sure that you're creating more content in the moment so that you've got more digital assets, and then making the best use of all of those digital assets. So I would absolutely love to know from all of you in the comments, what's the one big takeaway that you've had from this week? We've covered a lot of stuff, and today we're going to cover repurposing content by resharing. But what's the thing you've had so far this week? I'm going to have a quick sip of my tea, and then we'll read through the comments, see what people's takeaways been, and then we'll launch into today's part of the content creation topic. Okay, so Guy Porteous is saying that making sure you upload Facebook Lives to YouTube. So that repurposing, so making sure that you are actually posting it to somewhere else. So the cross posting, whether it's going live in multiple places like I'm doing right now, or whether it's saving that video afterwards. Every time you finish a Facebook live, you've got the option to save and download it. Now, I say every time, of course, there's always bugs in the platform, and sometimes you can't find the button, but there are ways to go and download those videos and to reuse and repurpose them for other platforms. What you need to do is show up in multiple places to give yourself the best chance of being in front of your audience where and when it's relevant to them. So an amazing example of that is exactly that. Someone who tuned in on Instagram, Jake, who's been watching over on Instagram, we helped him this week with a video where he normally downloads it and uploads it, but for some reason he hadn't, and he couldn't find a way to get it downloaded. So we gave him a hand, got that video downloaded, and helped him, because he repurposes that Facebook Live that he does into YouTube, just like Guy's saying there, remembering to upload them. Again, Google, YouTube, it's the second biggest search engine in the world. And of course, when people are searching for how to do things, videos are a good example of the process in how to do it. So they go there as a place to look, to see how to do it, to learn how to do it. So of course, if you're putting your content there, you might show up into search for what they're searching for. Rachel, here's what Rachel's taken away: the process of documenting, backing up and uploading as you go so that you can repurpose. So this is super, super important. So many people are ready to create, and they hear this topic of content creation and they're like, brilliant, I'm going to go create some content. But the reality is, at the beginning of the week, we talked about the fact that content creation quite often scares the living daylights out of people. And the reality is, if you realize that you can document rather than create, that changes everything, because you just do what you do and you film it, or you take photos, or you write about it, and you create content by documenting what you already do. That way you're also talking about your process, you're talking about how you help, you're talking about the results that you get. And the most important part of that Rachel's talking about here is backing it up. If you don't back that stuff up, you don't have access to it. If you're not creating digital assets, you're just creating the content. You have to remember, the digital asset is when you've got it to reuse, to repurpose, and to make the most of. So Rachel, thanks for letting us know how you've been enjoying the week. Sally, you need to watch later so I can take notes out on the school run with synopsis. Would a synopsis each day be possible? So talking about synopsis, I always talk about what we're going to cover at the beginning and at the end. So if you've missed it, you'll always be able to catch at the end me recapping again what we've learned that day. So there is a little bit of a synopsis for each day already in every broadcast. So today is all about repurposing content by resharing. So we talked about repurposing earlier in the week by cross-posting, which is making sure it appears on multiple different platforms. So like we're on IGTV, where we're backing up there, we're live on Instagram. So we're live on Instagram, backing up to IGTV. We're on YouTube, which also saves and backs up there. All the different platforms keep the content where they are so that you can go back and watch and replay them. But also we are making sure that we're across all the different platforms. So, you know, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, obviously, for Periscope, Instagram for live. So you've got loads of different places. So we've done the cross-posting thing, but now I want to talk to you about resharing. Content isn't something that you just set and forget. You don't do it once and then that's it, you're done and finished. The best examples of uses of content are sometimes not the first bite of the cherry, right? Like if you put the content out and it doesn't perform how you expected it to, reshare it. And if, depending on the platforms, let's use Facebook as the example. If Facebook wasn't messing around and we had those videos live on the page and they go out today talking about this topic, I can share that again in a week's time, 3 weeks' time, 3 months' time. And I share the original content again, rather than going back to the digital asset and having to repost it. And I'm actually going to reshare the original content, because I want the engagement, I want the interaction, I want the community aspect of what we're sharing all on the same post. Now, most people don't do this. They don't go back. If you've ever got to a point of thinking, oh, I haven't got anything to post, I haven't got any content created, again, hopefully documenting has made you get over that creation overwhelm. But if you fall into that trap of being in a place where you haven't got anything, you haven't created, you haven't documented, and you need something to post, Why not go back and revisit something that you've done before? Why not reshare a video or a graphic or a blog that you've written in the past and then give your current commentary on it? Now, a lot of content is still relevant. The more evergreen you can make your content, the more you can reuse and repurpose it. But on the flip side, the more relevant you can make it in a moment, then the more impact it will have. So there's this kind of double-edged sword going on here, where with content you want it to be really highly relevant and specific in the moment, because that catches the trends. That means you can talk in the topic of what's happening in the current situation. But actually, if you also focus on creating content that's evergreen, that means you can reuse it, repurpose it, reshare it, and get the most impact for the time, effort, and energy that you put in, or as some people would say, the most bang for your buck. So the amount of time and effort that you're going to put in doesn't change whether it's evergreen or whether it's current and relevant. That doesn't change. What does change is how many times you can use it. Can I reuse it? Can I repurpose it? Can I reshare it and get the most out of that piece of content? So when you're creating content or documenting, then you need to think about how many times will I be able to use this? How useful will this be in 3 months or 6 months time? Or is it something that's specifically relevant now? There's a couple of examples of this that are relevant only in the moment, but can be reshared. For example, I know Guy Porteous is in here, and he does obviously stock taking, but he's in an industry where there are times like Christmas where that's super relevant for bringing in more staff and therefore higher risks and things like that. That is relevant at the same time every year. It's not relevant in June, July time, but it is highly relevant in those Christmas months. So we need to think about some of the content will fit into it's not quite evergreen. You couldn't post it any time, but it is relevant at a specific time every year. So you can create content, excuse me, you can use content that let's go back. We can create content that is relevant in all those situations. So whether it's relevant specifically right now in the moment with the highest impact, whether it's relevant at a specific time, but only a specific time, but repurposable year to year, month to month, week to week, whatever that schedule looks like. And then you've got true evergreen, where it's content that you'll create that you will re-share again and again and again. I talked about Agora Pulse, I think yesterday or the day before. It's an amazing platform that's not just a social scheduler. It's a social scheduler reporting tool. It's got loads of different functionality in it. Now, if you wanted to go and test and try it, you can have 2 months completely for free. We're an ambassador for Agora Pulse. You can go and check it out at itsnomad9.com/try Agora Pulse, and that'll give you 2 months free to test and try the product. Now, when you're creating that content and you want to post it, the true evergreen content, if you post it once, you only get one opportunity for people to connect with that content. If you post that across multiple platforms, you get that many attempts for people to connect with it. Now, if you use some of the features and functionality that Agora Pulse has, it gives you the option to say, here's my content. I'd like to post this 3 times over the next 3 weeks or 3 months, and it will pick different times to put it out across the platforms for you. So great tool for using evergreen content over and over again, because remember, just because you post it today, it might be highly relevant, it might be super important, but not everybody's going to see it. And that's not because they're not in tune, that's not because they're not engaged, it's because the algorithms on the platform means that you don't always see everything. Now, some people catch these broadcasts 2-3 days behind because they hadn't seen it live at the time, but then it shows up in their feed and their algorithm. When you guys hit those like buttons, when you hit those hearts, when you're sharing a little bit on the platform, that's helping us to stay relevant and to appear to people at a different time. So really, really important that you understand this. Well, today, I really want you to grasp that you can reshare content you've done in the past. You've got evergreen content, you've got some that's true evergreen, and you've got some that's maybe relevant at specific times. So make sure that you do go in and you do reshare. Other than using tools like Agora Pulse, you can go and you can check out sharing within the platform. So I post some status updates sometimes. For example, when we put our speaker call out for the Collab Club that's coming in November, when we put that speaker call out, rather than post lots of times, I reshared the original post. So I went back to the post, which again used the tools within the platform, save them so they're easy to go back to. If you can't find the save options in there, bookmark it on your phone or your computer and then be able to go back to it. Again, systems and processes that allow you to do this more effectively and efficiently. There are lots of people who make it work. If it works for them, it can work for you as well. So, so important. Here we go. Guys, reminding people here again, Thursdays, typical of re-sharing content. Throwback Thursday is a thing where people look back to things they've done in the past. So it's a reminder, if you ever forget, that Throwback Thursday is a way to look back at old photos, old content, reshare ideas, concepts that you've done before. Remember, just because you posted it once doesn't mean that people have seen it. Guy saying accountants use end of March each year if you're in the UK. Yeah, absolutely. So business is 31st of March as the end of the accounting year. So it's an opportunity for them every single year to talk about the same things, but they're always relevant every year. If you don't make it super specific and timely, so exactly in that moment, if you make it more evergreen, that means you can share, reuse, repurpose it every single year. And obviously you can bolt stuff on or talk around it so that you give more context. So hopefully this week has given you a lot of food for thought around content creation. Don't be overwhelmed by content creation. It's not as difficult as people make you believe or that your head might be telling you. If you document rather than create, the process will be easier. If you create digital assets, store them safely, securely, and easily accessible in the cloud, that's going to make your life easier for repurposing and rescheduling. Social media content is not complicated. You have to have a good system and process to document, to create, to store, to reuse, and repurpose. Once you do all of those things, the content creation will work better for you and your business. It will give you more opportunities to appear in front of your ideal customers. It'll give you better opportunities to be seen, to have conversations, to connect, to build community, right? It's all about building community, right? When you do this with content, I've actually got it on. I totally didn't even register that I'm wearing it today, but the Build Ecosystems t-shirts that I wear, right? Build an ecosystem of content. When you build good quality content, it is an ecosystem in and of itself. Daniel Priestley talks about this as being binge ready. If someone finds one piece of your content, can they go and consume more? If it's a video, for example, if someone caught this video as the first video they've seen, can they go and binge? Well, absolutely. We do 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. UK time, British summertime, where they can tune in live or they can go back and catch the replays, because all of the content is there for them to go and watch, rewatch, and binge. So we are binge ready, and each week has a different topic. You build an ecosystem of content. People can deep dive, they can go down that rabbit hole of consuming lots and lots of your content, which means they're building their relationship with you without it taking lots of your time. So lots of people say, I haven't got time when it comes to content creation. The reality is it's about priorities. Everybody has the same amount of time, 24 hours in a day. It's about how effectively and efficiently you use them. So when you're looking at content creation, set time aside to make sure you've got time to create content. You've got time to reshare it. You've got time to put it in the right places. You've got time to back it up. You've got time to repurpose it. Give yourself an allocation of time to do content creation. Remember that content creation and documentation of what you do is some of the most effective and efficient ways you can do content creation. Saving them so that you've got them to repurpose, reshare, reuse is an impactful way to make the best use of your time. Time is your most valuable asset, and as we draw in closer to half an hour, we always try to keep these as impactful and concise as possible. So Breakfast and Business comes to you Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. UK time, British summertime right now. for about half an hour every day, 6 days a week. What we ask you to do is go and put these things into practice. It's not about learning something and it's all lovely and I've heard something good. It's about you getting results. We want you to go out and implement the things we're talking to you about. Have you got a good piece of content you've posted this week? Let's not go further back than that. Let's keep it super simple. Have you posted a piece of content this week that you could reshare? Today is all about resharing. Find a really good piece of content and just go and give it a share. Remember that being on a Saturday right now, people in the week might not have seen it. They might have been busy, head down, doing other things. Resharing it today could give you the second bite of that cherry to give people the opportunity to connect with that content, have a conversation, and start building a relationship with you, becoming part of your ecosystem. Right? You want those people to connect with you, have conversations, and then ultimately you'll get to the point of having the opportunity to do business together. Let's have a quick look here. Rachel, so doing lives is better for the algorithm than recording and sharing. Yes, Rachel, as with all features within social media platforms, when the features are new, they get precedent in the algorithms. Most platforms will preference whatever the new thing is. So, for example, Instagram Reels is obviously getting a lot of attention right now because it's new in platform. It's a new tool, and obviously people who are jumping on and embracing it are getting lots of impact. The same as when Facebook Live started, it had the highest relevance within the platform. So yes, there's a reason that Facebook Live has a better positioning within the algorithm, is because when people are on a live, they're more likely to stay tuned in. Facebook are looking at the attention grab. They're looking to see how long they can keep you on the platform. And people like myself being able to go live for 30 minutes means that people who tune in for the whole broadcast, Facebook ticks a box that they kept a customer on the platform for 30 minutes. So of course it's going to have more relevance. Live is going to do better because it's going to have people engaging and asking questions and staying there and staying relevant. So with that in mind, it's going to keep people there longer, and it's going to feed the algorithm of keeping people relevant on the platform. So yes, I hope that answers your question. Absolutely. Guy is all over sharing the useful information today. So Guy is saying lives have to be over 3 minutes to be effective. Yes, if you're doing lives, so there's a difference between live and pre-recorded. Pre-recorded is really good for fast, quick snippets of information. And here's the thing, if you do lives and you do them effectively, you can cut them up and you can create that recorded content as well. Here's a couple of tips on doing that. If you go live in the same way I do, I talk in segments, and then I talk backwards and forwards with you, and then I do segments, and then I talk backwards and forwards. That means I can take those pieces of content out and repurpose them. It means I don't get the hellos and the highs and all of that in the middle, so that it's as effective and efficient as a digital asset to be reused later. I hope that makes sense. And then with live, if you're going live, you've got to be over 3 minutes on Facebook. It's not going to get syndicated out into the Watch platform, which is their big TV studio, as it were, within Facebook, where people can consume and watch other people's content. They can go there, use it like TV. They can go tune in and watch what's happening. If you're not over 3 minutes, you don't get syndicated across Watch for more people to find you. If you've ever been watching a live and it rolls into another live, that's how they try to keep you on, keep you engaged, and roll straight from one thing to another. Lots of broadcast mediums do this really, really well. People like Netflix, where you finish a show, even if you finish the complete series and you've been binge watching, it can roll you straight into something else or roll you an ad for something straight away to try and keep your attention in the platform, and that's what they're aiming for. Guy, I've created posts for Tuesdays and Wednesdays until the end of the year. They're all scheduled to go out on multiple channels. Brilliant. So those posts, that's a great thing. Repurposing, reposting, making sure you're staying current, relevant, and in front of your customers at a time that's suitable to them and to you, and using scheduling tools to stay relevant. I know that Guy does a lot of traveling because he has to go and physically stock take in locations. So of course, when he's on the road, he still has to stay relevant on social media to build that relationship with his audience and to connect with those people. So great work, Guy. I can see someone saying good morning. Good morning. I can't see who you are. I'm guessing that you're inside one of the groups and you haven't granted permission. So make sure you drop your name so that I can say a proper good morning to you as well. Sally saying, you say people don't always listen to live. You use wording, is this an app? So I'm not quite sure what you mean here, Sally, but I'll answer it as best as I can. So within most social platforms, when it comes to video as a general rule, it's about 80 to 85% of people are listening to video with the sound off, right? And that's why it's so important to have subtitles. Now with live, Facebook and YouTube have got this built in as a feature and functionality that the subtitles are on if the sound is off. Unfortunately, there's no control over those subtitles. It's all done natively within the platform, so you don't have control. So if you think about the fact that people are consuming more video than they've ever consumed because they're working from home, they're online a lot more, they're actually watching more video, it follows that if 80 to 85% of people are watching with the sound off, think for a minute about real opportunities there. If you don't have subtitles on your videos, if you don't do live with the live transcriptions, people can't connect. 80 to 85% of people will miss that video. Think about the real situations where people are doing that. It makes sense that it's that high when you think about if you're at home with the kids and the kids are watching TV and you want to look at something else because you're not interested in Peppa Pig or Fireman Sam or whatever's on the TV, but you want to do that. You can't watch with the sound on because it would distract them from watching their show, but you could watch something with the subtitles turned on. If it's live, Facebook and YouTube definitely do it. Some of the other platforms might do it, where you've got options to have subtitles live on there, and they're defaultly turned on because it's for the user experience, and you can turn them on or turn them off when you're watching and consuming video. For me, quite often I want to turn them off because I want to grab screenshots and reshare stuff from broadcasts that I'm watching. So it's important for me to know how to turn that on, turn that off. So yes, within live, you can have those subtitles. They're done defaultly within the platforms. If you're using and repurposing videos, for example, this live, we can create the subtitle file for ourselves afterwards. And we can make sure that it's accurate and correct, because of course we might refer to things that it doesn't recognize the words or the terminology of what we're talking about, and we want to make sure it's as accurate as possible. So we can go back, we can create those subtitle files, we can add them back to every video that we've put out online. And obviously that's a process that takes time, it's effort, it's energy, but we do that across our content to try and help people get the most out of it. So yes, absolutely, you'll get better results if you're including subtitles. Some people like to burn them in. If you've seen some of our epics or Gary Vee style videos where they've got timer bars and the subtitles are on, you can't turn them off because they're actually part of the video, those square style videos that we use as well. Thank you, Rachel. No problem at all. Sally saying the words that run along the bottom of the live. So if you're talking about the subtitles, that's covering that. The bit that's below here that I've got running, the ticker bar, as we refer to it, that's running across here. Instagram Live, you guys don't have this, but I've got a ticker bar running on all the other platforms. It literally is just reminding people when they come in, say hi, let us know if they're live or on the replay, and also where they're tuning in from, but also using the hashtag breakfast and business. If you're sharing this, use the hashtag. If you use it, we can find it and we can come and have a conversation on your content and share our audience back to you. We do this through Streamyard. If you wanted to test it out, it's a platform that allows us to multicast to multiple different platforms. So for example, we've just said we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Periscope and Twitter, we're on Twitch, here in Landscape, Instagram. We're live in the platform on a different device because they haven't opened their API yet. But this ticker bar comes from Streamyard. If you want to check it out, it's nomad9.com/try Streamyard, and you can go and get a free trial of that, test it out, see how good it is for you. I think you get 14 days free. There is a free version of it you can use forever, but it has branding on. If you want to add your own branding, if you want to get your colors, your fonts, you want to put your own branding and design on it, then you can go and test that out for free. And then if you want it, I think it starts from $25 a month if you're paying monthly, or $20 if you're paying for the year. And it just gives you loads of extra features and functionality that you can add in all the time. I'm going to really quickly see if I can flick back over here. So you can do some really cool stuff with this. So you can bring in the branding, which you'll see just up here for It's Nomad 9. I can bring that up. I can also drop in stuff like this, where I can put the live feature up in the top corner. Oh, which side are we? This side as well for live. So we can bring in extra branding elements, which gives us an opportunity to have a more professional live stream, because we can do that. We can do pre-roll videos, and we can bring in other content. For us, it's most important that we've just got the ticker bar there as a constant reminder of things that we wanted to share with people, so I don't have to just keep saying it. Having it there on the screen for people can be really, really powerful and impactful. So Guy, yes, here, if you go live on your Facebook page, it actually does it for you. So the subtitling is turned on by default on your business page, so that people can consume that content even if they've got the sound off. Rachel, let me know. Yeah, I said you can't see the subtitles there. So there's a little, depending if you're on mobile or desktop. If you're on desktop, there should be a little cog over the video where you can turn auto captions on, depending whether you're on profile or pages. Sometimes, again, there's so many different places and ways you could be watching this, that in some places it's working, in some places it isn't. So yeah, that's how you turn it on and turn it. So you turn it on to get access to those features for yourself and for other people. And it's good for you to go and test it and practice on other people's content, so you can tell your audience how they can do it with your content as well. Thanks, Guy. It's nomad9.com/try StreamYard. Go grab yourself a free trial, test it out. 14 days of the pro versions that you can test out for free, but you can actually use the free version if you aren't fussed about all the branding and all that stuff. You can actually use the free version to go out to more platforms. Now, you wouldn't be able to go to as many platforms as we are, because we're on a pro plan that allows us to actually broadcast up to 8 different destinations all at once here, plus obviously we have IGTV running on the side as well. Guy agreeing that StreamYard is great. Couldn't agree more. Some great features and functionality in here, and a great community as well, where people are always sharing how they're using the platform and some of the things that are relevant to people, other people are live streaming. Great community they've got on Facebook. So guys, that's it for another week of Breakfast and Business. Thank you so much for tuning in, staying with us despite technical issues throughout the week this week. It's been amazing to have you all on for this week, content creation. So across the week, what we've covered, if you missed any of it, Monday was what is content, Tuesday is content as digital assets. So that's about understanding that you will need to save them and back them up and have access to them again later. Wednesday, repurposing content by cross-posting, putting it in multiple places because you don't know where people are going to consume it. Thursday was content behind content. So how do you create multiple pieces of content, not just live to multiple places, but how do you create even more, a time lapse or photos or little pieces of other content that you can create in the same amount of time behind the scenes. Also, people are inherently quite nosy, so showing behind the scenes is something that people love to see. Friday, we did a segment that showed the tools that we use as a business to grow our content strategy. So how we create, what tools we use, how we back up and store. So all the things we've been talking about in the week, and then how we can reuse them using softwares. And we answered a load of questions on Friday. And today was all about content creation, repurposing by resharing. You don't have to recreate the content. All you have to do is be effective and efficient at resharing that content. When you do that, you give yourself the highest opportunity to get the highest level of engagement on a piece of content, and also you don't have to go and create over and over again because you've already done it. You've created the content, it's on the platform. Go and reshare that content. Like Guy alluded to, the Throwback Thursdays is a really good example of this, but you don't have to wait till just Thursdays to do it. You can do it every single day, and that will actually make it easier for you to stay on top of your content creation. I hope you found this week useful. If you did, please do drop those emojis, red, yellow or orange emojis on whatever platform. Use the tools, the likes, the reactions, the hearts, wherever you're watching, and please share this with someone else. We have a phrase that we use all the time, which is each one teach one. Every time you learn something, share it with somebody else, because knowledge is important that it's shared with other people, and helping other people around you is just the right thing to do. So hit that share button, tag some friends in the comments on the platforms where you can do that. Let somebody else know about this. Also, let them know about Breakfast and Business in general. we come to you live, free, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m. UK time, British summer time, to tune in live, be a part of the community, join the conversation. If you can't make it live, grab the replays, still get involved in the comments, still get involved in the conversation. I come back and try to respond to as many comments as possible. So always ask your questions in the comments, always get involved, always interact, even if you're on the replay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Another amazing week for Breakfast and Business. An incredible day out here today to end the broadcast on. So thank you so much for spending time with us. Your time is your most valuable asset. When it comes to content creation, do it effectively, do it efficiently, and put all those systems and processes in place to make your life easier and have more impact and influence through your content marketing. All it leaves me to say now is if you want to connect with me in between any of the broadcasts, you can find me as ImTristanG across all the socials. Make sure you check out all the previous broadcasts of Breakfast and Business. You can find them through the hashtag Breakfast and Business. You can also go, there's a Facebook and a LinkedIn event where we list the whole schedule and we drop the links to all the videos in there so you can catch them there if you ever don't get the notifications. But for now, that's it for another week of content creation for Breakfast and Business. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening. I hope you've got weather that's as glorious as it is here. I'm going to go and spend a little bit of quality time today with some loved ones, and I hope you have an amazing rest of the weekend.